Cyd Charisse was an American actress and dancer. After recovering from polio as a child and studying ballet, Charisse entered films in the 1940s. Her roles usually featured her abilities as a dancer, and she was paired with Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. Her films include Singin in the Rain, The Band Wagon, Brigadoon with Gene Kelly and Van Johnson and Silk Stockings. She stopped dancing in films in the late 1950s, but continued acting in film and television, and in 1991 made her Broadway debut. In her later years, she discussed the history of the Hollywood musical in documentaries, and was featured in That's Entertainment. In 1994. She was awarded the National Medal of the Arts and Humanities in 2006. Early life. Cyd Charisse was born Tula Ellice Finklea in Amarillo, Texas, the daughter of Lela and Ernest Enos Finklea Sr., who was a jeweler. Her nickname, Cyd, was taken from her older brother Ernest E. Finklea Jr., who tried to say, sis. It was later given the spelling of Cyd by Arthur Freed. She was a sickly girl who started dancing lessons at 6 to build up her strength after a bout of polio. At 12, she studied ballet in Los Angeles with Adolphe Boehm and Bronislava Nijinská, and at 14, she auditioned for and subsequently danced in the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo as Felia Sidorova, and, later, Maria Istomina. She was educated at the Hollywood Professional School. During a European tour, she met up again with Nico Charisse, a young dancer she had studied with for a time in Los Angeles. They married in Paris in 1939 and had a son, Nicky, born in 1942. Career. Early films. She appeared uncredited in some films like Escort Girl and was in a short for Warner Brothers, The Gay Parisian. The outbreak of World War II led to the breakup of the ballet company, and when Charisse returned to Los Angeles, David Lichine offered her a dancing role in Gregory Ratoff's Something to Shout About at Columbia. This brought her to the attention of choreographer Robert Alton, who had also discovered Gene Kelly, and soon she joined the Freed unit at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, where she became the resident MGM ballet dancer. Early Mgm Role. Charisse made some uncredited appearances in Mission to Moscow and Thousands Cheer. She was borrowed by Warner's for In Our Time, playing a ballerina. Charisse was a ballerina in Ziegfeld Follies, dancing with Fred Astaire. Feedback was positive and Charisse was given her first speaking part supporting Judy Garland in the 1946 film The Harvey Girls. She followed it with 3 Wise Fools and she danced with Gower Champion to Smoke Gets in Your Eyes Until the Clouds Roll By. She also had a supporting role in the Esther Williams musical Fiesta. Rising fame. Charisse was second billed in The Unfinished Dance with Margaret O'Brien, but the film was a box office flop. She had a good supporting part in On an Island with You with Williams and danced in The Kissing Bandit. She had a supporting part in Words and Music. Charisse was given another opportunity in a B movie, Tension, where she was third billed, but it was a box office disappointment. She was billed 5th in the prestigious East Side, West Side and was borrowed by Universal to play the female lead in The Mark of the Renegade. Back at MGM. Charisse was the leading lady in The Wild North with Stuart Granger, which was a huge hit. Because Debbie Reynolds was not a trained dancer, Kelly chose Charisse to partner with him in the celebrated, Broadway melody, ballet finale from Singin in the Rain, which was acknowledged soon after release as one of the greatest musicals of all time. Stardom. Charisse had a significant role in Sombrero as well as the lead female role in The Band Wagon, where she danced with Astaire in the acclaimed, Dancing in the Dark, and, Girl Hunt ballet, routines. Vincent Minnelli directed. Critic Pauline Kael said that, when the bespangled Charisse wraps her phenomenal legs around Astaire, she can be forgiven everything, even her 3 minutes of classical ballet and the fact that she reads her lines as if she learned them phonetically. The film was another classic but lost money for MGM. Charisse had a cameo in Easy to Love, then co-starred with Kelly in the Scottish-themed musical film Brigadoon, directed by Minnelli. It was a box office disappointment. She again took the lead female role in his MGM musical It's Always Fair Weather, which lost money. In between she made an appearance in Deep in My Heart. Charisse co-starred with Dan Daly in Meet Me in Las Vegas, which also lost money. She rejoined Astaire in the film version of Silk Stockings, a musical remake of 1939's Ninotchka, with Charisse taking over Greta Garbo's role. Astaire paid tribute to Charisse in his autobiography, calling her "beautiful dynamite," and writing, "That's Cyd. When you've danced with her you stay danced with." The film was well received but lost money for MGM. In her autobiography, Charisse reflected on her experience with Astaire and Kelly. As one of the handful of girls who worked with both of those dance geniuses, I think I can give an honest comparison. In my opinion, Kelly is the more inventive choreographer of the two. Astaire, with Hermes Pan's help, creates fabulous numbers, for himself and his partner. But Kelly can create an entire number for somebody else. I think, however, that Astaire's coordination is better than Kelly's. His sense of rhythm is uncanny. Kelly, on the other hand, is the stronger of the two. When he lifts you, he lifts you. To sum it up, I'd say they were the two greatest dancing personalities who were ever on screen. But it's like comparing apples and oranges. They're both delicious. Charisse had a slightly unusual serious acting role in Party Girl, where she played a showgirl who became involved with gangsters and a crooked lawyer, although it did include 2 dance routines. It was far more profitable for MGM than her musicals. She went to Universal to co-star with Rock Hudson in Twilight for the Gods. 1960s. After the decline of the Hollywood musical in the late 1950s, Charisse retired from dancing but continued to appear in film and TV productions from the 1960s through the 1990s. She went to Europe to make 5 Golden Hours and Minnelli's 2 Weeks in Another Town. She had a supporting role in Something's Got to Give, the last, unfinished film of Marilyn Monroe. She did Assassination in Rome and Italy. A striptease number by Charisse set to the movie's theme song opened the 1966 Dean Martin spy spoof, The Silencers, and she played a fashion magazine editor in the 1967 caper film Maroc 7. She frequently performed dance numbers on TV variety series such as The Ed Sullivan Show and The Dean Martin Show, with 7 appearances on The Hollywood Palace, a show she also hosted 3 times. She did Folle de Rôle in 1968, which was filmed and broadcast in 1972. 1970s and 1980s. In the 1970s and 1980s, Charisse guest starred on shows such as Medical Center, Hawaii Five-0, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, The Fall Guy, Glitter, Murder, She Wrote, and Crazy Like a Fox. She had a cameo in One Ton Ton, The Dog Who Saved Hollywood and played Atzel, an Atlantean high priestess, in the 1978 fantasy film Warlords of Atlantis. Charisse was in the TV movies Portrait of an Escort and Swimsuit. She also made cameo appearances in Blue Mercedes's I Want to Be Your Property, and Janet Jackson's All Right music videos. Later career Charisse appeared on Broadway from late 1991 as a replacement for Liliane Montevecchi in Grand Hotel. Her last film appearance was in 1994 in That's Entertainment. 3 as one of the on-screen narrators of a tribute to the great MGM musical films. She also appeared in episodes of Burke's Law and Frasier in 1995 before retiring from acting. Subsequently, she made a brief and posthumous comeback in the TV movie Empire State Building Murders, which aired some 2 months after her death in 2008. Later years. In 1976, Charisse and her husband Tony Martin wrote their joint memoirs with Dick Kleiner entitled The Two of Us. In 1990, following similar moves by MGM colleagues Debbie Reynolds and Angela Lansbury, Charisse produced the exercise video Easy Energy Shape Up, targeted for active senior citizens. She made her Broadway debut in 1989 in the musical version of Grand Hotel as the aging ballerina, Yelizaveta Grushinskaya. In her 80s, Charisse made occasional public appearances and appeared frequently in documentaries spotlighting the golden age of Hollywood. She was featured in the 2001 Guinness Book of World Records under Most Valuable Legs, because a $5 million insurance policy was reportedly issued on her legs in 1952. Personal life. Charisse's first husband, whose surname she kept, was Nico Charisse. They were married in 1939 and had a son, Nicky Charisse, before divorcing in 1947. In 1948, Charisse married singer Tony Martin, and remained married until her death in 2008. They had a son, Tony Martin Jr. Her daughter-in-law is actress and model Liv Lindeland, who was married to Tony Martin Jr. until his death in 2011. Sheila Charisse, another daughter-in-law, died in the crash of American Airlines Flight 191 on May 25, 1979. Charisse, like her husband Tony Martin Sr., was a staunch Republican and campaigned for Barry Goldwater in the 1964 United States presidential election and Richard Nixon in 1968. She was the aunt of the actress Nana Visitor. Charisse was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California on June 16, 2008, after suffering an apparent heart attack. She died the following day at age 86. She was a practicing Methodist, but due to her husband's religion she was buried at Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery, a Jewish cemetery in Culver City, California, following a Methodist ceremony. Honors on November 9, 2006, in a private White House ceremony, President George W. Bush presented Cyd Charisse with the National Medal of the Arts and Humanities, the highest official U.S. honor available in the arts.